Okay, we are now recording.
Great. Hi, this is Mary Burruss, the self-care activist, and I'm here today with Harry Lopez. We are on WRWK 93.9 FM, and I am Mary of Flowering Cactus, creator of the Stable and Strong Proven Process. And Harry Lopez is an amazing personal coach. Could I say personal coach?
Personal and
Yeah?
professional,
Okay.
yes.
So I just want to read this amazing bio that is here about Harry. Are you ready to blush? All right, here we go. For those of you not watching the recording of this, Harry's blushing. All right. Harry is a personal and professional success coach, consciousness expert, and entrepreneur. He writes and speaks frequently on issues of personal and professional change, happiness, health, and inspiration, and the topic of mindful living and conscious business. Harry has coached and consulted leaders at Google, Amazon, Facebook, BuzzFeed, Pantaleon, Nickelodeon, Microsoft, Palantir, and more. And he's just an awesome human being. So the topic for today's conversation is self-care. So Harry, do you want to add anything? Like, I understand that you work primarily with the Latin population. Is that right?
Yes, and just first of all, thank you so much, Mary, for having me on your radio show and your podcast. I'm just truly honored and just really inspired by who you are and how you show up in the world. So just really excited to be on here to share a little bit more about me. But just to give a little bit more background, just contextually, I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, and I'm currently not in Miami right now. I'm currently in Los Angeles, California, seeing some clients and was here for a conference. But I primarily work with the Latino community, the Latinx community. And when I first started my business, I had no intention that I would be serving the Latino community. But given my background, my parents are immigrants from Managua, Nicaragua, who immigrated to the United States in the 1980s during the Revolutionary War. And my parents came to the US with no money at all. My dad actually said that they had $1 in their pockets and they slept in shower curtains. And my story, my upbringing growing up was really an upbringing of just grit and struggle and determination. And despite not having much when I was growing up, my family just instilled in me just infectious joy and positivity my entire life, and just really seeing and soaking in the abundance and the riches of the world from a very early age. And from a very early age, my parents instilled in me the value of hard work, of determination, of fuerza, of everything that the values that are really deeply instilled in Latin culture that was instilled in me. And so growing up, it's just been a privilege to really build a business, a coaching and transformation business where I can serve people that really mirror my experience. First generation Latinos, second generation Latinos, adults, parents, millennials, who are all wanting to just really transform and make the most of this experience here in this world. So that's a little bit more about
Wow,
me, and I can tell you more.
that's amazing. That's so beautiful to share your gifts this way and honor your culture and help to accelerate your culture here in the United States. I think is awesome and amazing.
Thank you so much.
So again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Mary Burruss. This is the self-care activist on WRWK 93.9 FM in Chesterfield, Henrico, Hanover, just to name a few of the places where we are broadcasting today. And of course, Facebook and the world via streaming. I'm here with personal coach, Harry Lopez, and we're going to start talking a little bit about some self-care stuff. So how did you get into coaching? I mean, before we get into the meat of our conversation, like now that we have a little of your background, how did coaching come about?
Sure.
Weren't you a teacher? Were you a teacher?
Yes, I was. I was a school teacher. I was an elementary school teacher, third grade in
Oh
Nashville,
gosh, those
Nashville,
are my
Tennessee.
kids.
I taught at Cane Ridge Elementary School in Antioch in Nashville, just 20 minutes outside of Nashville, and I
Wow.
was serving a very diverse community. And I taught for a couple of years, and I consider myself to have eventually have become a very good teacher. And the organization I was working for asked me if I wanted to become a teacher coach, getting to go around to different classrooms and support teachers in their development. And so I became what was known as an MTLD, which is a manager of teacher leadership development. So I was coaching,
Wow.
training, supporting 30 teachers all around Nashville at 15 different schools. So my job was every single day of the week, I was going into classrooms and supporting teachers. And every single Tuesday, I was in school for coaching, learning transformational tools and methodologies of deep listening, of asking powerful questions, getting people to get unstuck, really understanding what are people saying, but what are they deeply saying that is not being said? Like, what are they really saying that's underneath what's being spoken?
Mhm.
So just learning how to almost rewire my mind into becoming and my identity into becoming this transformational coach and leader. And that's where I started was with in the world of education. And I was loving what I was doing with coaching, but I was feeling really burnt out working in education. And I decided to leave for a bit and go pursue entrepreneurship and see what would happen if I was to start my own business as a private personal coach. And so
Mhm.
I started hiring my own coaches. I was part of a really incredibly influential Jewish network. My father is Jewish, so I was able to get this grant. It's called the Make It Happen grant, and every year I went to Israel, and life changing experience. I could go into that, but I'll save this.
Wow.
And so I hired multiple coaches, business coaches, personal coaches, spiritual coaches, and that's been my development over the last couple of years. And having been someone as a first generation immigrant child, I am the first person in my family to go to college. I'm the first person in my family to go to graduate school, to get a full-time job here in the US, exceeding educational and income barriers and limitations. And so my impetus for seeking coaching was really to learn from, how do I say this? I wanted to learn how successful people who've been here for a long time, how they think, how they operate, how they've made their wealth, how
Mhm.
they've been able to get unstuck and create different pathways of opportunity. And so everything that I've invested into myself, I've invested so much money into myself. Like most of my paychecks from more normal jobs, most people would spend on their rent or going out, vacation, food, etc. Most of my money has always been spent on personal development. I have invested thousands
And
and thousands and thousands of dollars in
oh, wow.
education and coaches and books, podcasts, everything. And
That's awesome.
that's been my journey into coaching. And here I am. I've started my own private practice, and I'm now working primarily offline, working on through invitations and referrals for my current clients and people that I meet on my day-to-day experience of life.
Mhm. Wow. That's incredible. And I know that you like you started out just being a really successful coach like right away. So, but we're not going to talk about that. What I want to talk about a little bit is the theme of the show is self-care. And so I wanted to ask you one more question about you and then talk in a broader sense, about things you might recommend for your clients. And that question for you, and maybe you might want to flip that, but my question for you is, what is your self-care regime? Like, what do you do to take care of yourself and keep you, I mean, you have a big responsibility. You're helping people become their best version of themselves. And in order to do that, you have to be the best version of yourself. So how do you get there? What do you do? What are
Such a
your
good, such a good question, and I can go into details on the actual activities and practices that I do, and I'll get there. But I want to zoom out for a moment and just share a couple of things I've that I really lean on over the last couple of years in being a service-based professional. I am just pouring into people's lives and pouring and supporting and serving and coaching, and it can be very draining on the mind and the body and the spirit. So I have to make sure that I am really replenishing and fueling my spirit and my soul first and foremost before showing up for the world. And it's really the act of conscious leadership. It's really showing up for me first. And it's about rewiring any misunderstandings or misconceptions about what it means to care for the self. And oftentimes in my culture, it's self-care. It can be very taboo. It's like, oh my God, you're going to go get a massage. You're going to go to yoga. You're going to go take another nap. And in other societies and other cultures, those things are really looked down upon. But now that I've stepped into this work of transformation, I know that Audre Lorde once said, civil rights activist and professor, educator, self-love activist, said, the most loving thing I can do for you is to work on me. And so I've really had to really find moments of stillness and conscious pausing to take the time to invest in myself, to really slow things down. And so just generally, thematically, stillness is huge. Really just finding moments of just stillness and pausing where I can just listen to my thoughts, slow everything down. And a mindset of really, if we want to achieve greatness and success, it's not going to be through this idea of hustle and grinding and really burning ourselves to the ground. It's really through operating at a greater frequency of seeing things as just naturally happening and trusting the rhythm of life. So it's about slowing down to speed up, slowing down to go fast in business and in life. And I think that's been really pivotal in my success in my first year as a coach.
So I really love what you said. And was this a quote? Like, what was it? Something about the best way I can show love for you is by...
The most loving thing I can do for you is to work on me.
The most loving thing I can do for you is work on me. Yeah, that's incredible. That's like, I think in the American culture, this is seems to be such a difficult concept for people to grasp.
It is.
You know?
It really is.
Like stopping and Swami Satchidananda, who you know about Swami Satchidananda. He says, we take care of our mind and our body and our spirit. We make our mind, body, and spirit, we put it in an optimal condition. So in order to be of service to others, that we have to have this, this fit body, healthy fit mind, healthy fit spirit, so that we are fit and can serve others. Right?
Absolutely.
It's kind of the same idea. So you're saying pausing to speed up, slowing down to speed up. Can you speak a little bit more to that? That's a really interesting concept, I think.
Absolutely. And lately, what this looks like, just to break it down even further, is before going into any activity where I know that I'm going to have to, serve, like any coaching sessions or group facilitation, retreats, whatever. It's really about me investing and taking the time to find moments of stillness, slowing down the mind, calming down the mind. So meditation has been huge for me lately. And I really recommend the different apps, such as Insight Timer has been really influential for me.
I use that one and recommend it for my own clients. Yeah.
Yeah. So Insight Timer, I highly recommend. I'm a really big fan of guided meditations. So sometimes I'll pick out a specific meditation that will address a particular need that I'm wanting, or something that I'm currently facing, or something that I need to work through, such as self-love or self-worth or self-compassion or whatever it may be. That can be it. Or you can find a meditation on just calming down your mind, or anxiety, or sleep meditations that will really support you. And another thing around slowing down, which one of my favorite self-care practices, and I include this in self-care because for me, it's been the most powerful thing I've ever done. Beyond exercise, beyond journaling, beyond meditation, beyond anything, it's really the work of inquiry, really inquiring into the mind, into the beliefs of the mind, challenging the thoughts that come through our minds that create suffering. that's been for me the most powerful, most life-changing activity that I've included in my self-care practice.
So when you and just hold that thought, challenging self-inquiry. Okay, just 1 second. Hold on to that. I just need to do a little station ID. And we are on 93.9 WRWK FM in Henrico, Richmond, Goochland, Chesterfield. Oh, is it Goochland? Oops, I don't know. Hopefully people from Goochland are listening in. And I just want to mention one of the sponsors of the station, which is the Thrifty Quaker. Full disclosure, I'm a Quaker. I didn't know if you knew that or not. I'm a Buddhist yogi Quaker. And I'm just going to read this really quick, and then we can get back to our topic. So support for WRWK is provided by the Thrifty Quaker, located in the Midlothian Station Shopping Center at the corner of Midlothian Turnpike and Coalfield Road. The Thrifty Quaker sells donated items to support the work of 12 varying, mostly local charities each year. This month's charities are Smitty's Cat Rescue Shelter and Operation Catnip. Together, they are helping homeless cats get neutered and find forever homes. Information at thriftyquaker.com. Yay! Okay, I'm Mary Burruss of Self-Care Activist here, and I'm with Harry Lopez, personal coach. Okay, Harry, where were we?
So
we were talking about how did you phrase it? The inner inquiry?
Inner inquiry, which it's really the mindset. And Robin Sharma, he's a leadership expert. He does a lot of work on what he calls the four interior empires, the four sets, which is the mindset, the health set, the soul set, and the heart set. So it's really tackling all four areas of your essence and your being: the mind, the heart, the soul, and your health. And so if we're adequately, like, it's almost like feeding,
like
nourishing,
health.
like physical health, whole health, all encompassing completely of your mind, your health, your heart, and your soul. So it's kind of like you're taking your necessary ingredients you're taking your necessary vitamins, your fruits, your veggies, your meats, your proteins, etc. But it's looking at it from a different concept of really every single day doing something that is targeting your mind. So I really like inquiry. I challenge my thoughts. I really love podcasts, stimulating my mind by learning. I love journaling. I think just really collecting, slowing down my thoughts is really powerful. Just any kind of reading and learning is really powerful for the mind and the inquiry part. The soul set. So I really love prayer, and I love meditation, and I love, taking walks. And I know that you're a fan of walks too. So I know that this resonates with you. And really just surrendering to a higher power. When we talk about the soul with regards to self-care, it's really just when we have something that brings us suffering, or that's something that is completely out of our hands, just trusting and surrendering to the divine source, whatever that means for you. And at the core, it's just really, truth is love. It's just really coming back and anchoring yourself back in love. So we've got the mindset, the soul set, then you've got your heart set. So it's like those things that just bring you such joy, such effervescent joy and love. Do more of that. And for me, it's really raising my vibration and dancing. I love dancing. And I know that you're a dancer as well, but being from Miami, Latin culture, it's very vibrant. It's very movement oriented. That's something that I love. So I go to dance class on Tuesday nights. Coaching.
And what kind of dance is that? Like, I'm a Latin dancer, so I'm dancing, social dancing, salsa, bachata, cha-cha, merengue, cumbia. What is the dancing you do? I know it's different.
Yeah, and I love cumbia, and I love bachata, and I love salsa, and all those dances. My dance studio it's called Biodanza, and I go on Tuesday nights, and it's just...
This is in Miami, right?
It's in Miami, and it's just so remarkable. It's with everybody is Latin pretty much for the most part that goes to this class. They're all much older than me, but it's more of a heart expressive open dance, where it's like somewhat of a ecstatic dance where you're dancing openly, but it's really about opening your heart and expressing and playing songs and music that just evoke some sort of emotional response from you. So it's not choreographed. It's not technical at all. It's really, you move and you just are sensual. You connect with that part of you, your inner child. You connect with your sexuality. You connect with your whatever it is that you're wanting to connect with. And what's beautiful is that each class feels like this incredibly therapeutic coaching session where you start off with this theme and people open up, and then there's a theme for the entire class. The last class was about like enlightenment, so just opening up. The other class was about joy. The other class was about intimacy, so really deeply looking at each other when you're dancing around the class. So that is really at the heart for me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. And just laughter. And I know that you lead these phenomenal laughter yoga sessions in classes as well. So you absolutely know what I'm referring to with this. And I think it's so powerful to do so in the space and the comfort of community. We were born to be in community with one another.
Yes.
And in an African tribe, there's this expression called Ubuntu, which means I am because you are. You are because I am. We're in this together, and we are all the same. We're vibrational matches and mirrors for one another. So my experience mirrors yours.
It's beautiful. I love that. That is amazing. And it's so, a lot of, I've been reading Eckhart Tolle's New Earth lately, and talking about just that, like how everything around us, everything, all the people, the way we perceive people's reactions, the way we perceive things that happen around us is all a reflection of what's going on in ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
That's beautiful. I love it. So what are some of the things, like, you've talked a lot about how you nurture yourself to be the amazing coach you are. And I was on your website. Remind me of your website. How would someone go to your website? Just
sure. My website is my first, middle, and last name, Harry, Harry, Louis, Louis, Lopez, Lopez.com. So it's www.harrylouislopez.com. And the Louis is with an O. So that's a really good way to find me. And I'm also on Instagram at the Harry Lopez, THE Harry Lopez.
So I was on your website earlier. What was I going to say about it? The testimonials. Oh my gosh. You know, your clients just love you so much. And of course they do, because you just have this lovely way about you that's so nurturing. What do you tell them about self-care and the importance of self-care?
Yeah, I basically, that quote I shared with you is pretty much a staple of my coaching. The most loving thing I can do for you is to work on me. And I think just the very moment that a client signs with me as a client is them standing for themselves, is them choosing them first, oftentimes for the very first time in their lives. And the very act of investing financially, monetarily, there's this energetic exchange where you're putting it out to the universe and saying that I am going to work on me. I'm going to seek out a coach. I'm going to do this coaching container. And oftentimes it's one of the greatest investments that they've ever made in their lives. And it's the beginning of the change. It's the beginning of their new life. And I usually say to them, congratulations, this is the beginning of an entirely new life for you, when they sign on with me as a client. And I think that's the very beginning, right? That's the crux, that's the essence of the start of this new trajectory, this new journey into self-care. And then every single conversation is a mirror into their new lens into self-care. So we'll with the work of coaching and what they're doing with me as a client, they're addressing their fears, which is, in doing that, that's self-care. They're addressing their health. That's self-care. They're addressing their mind. What are the stories of the mind that we've created? What are the conditioned programming that we've bought into, oftentimes from our parents and our generational stories that we're still holding on to, oftentimes from childhood, that we can rewire and understand in a different light. What are the blocks and limitations that are holding us back from really stepping into our essence?
Yes. Yeah.
Oftentimes, really, just the work itself is very deeply spiritually rooted. And it's really rooted in just love. And so the work of coaching is in and of itself deeply loving, is self-love. It's really deeply compassionate. It's being graceful with yourself, but also being really practical and also really calling you forward to stand in the greatness that you already intrinsically are. It's about reclaiming your inherent power and your worth, the wholeness that you've always been, that's always been there. And it's
Wow.
that level of separation that has been created. So I think that's why clients of mine and clients in general, for the most part, that have invested in themselves in a process, in a container of coaching and transformation, have just radically transformed themselves from the very beginning, in the moment that they say yes to themselves in that beginning conversation.
So I'm just gonna pause here for a second. I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm in my living room today. This is unusual. Usually, normally I'd be in the studio, but because we're doing this pre-recorded for time constraints, I'm traveling to California tomorrow, dear listeners, and Harry and I will be at the same conference, and I'm so excited. We're going to be yoga and probably doing some dancing, and a lot of learning and growing. So I'm excited about that. But I'm in my apartment today, and it is pouring. Like, if you see flashes of lightning and you hear thunder and rain, that's what's going on. In the background, it is raining. So just little mind, and just to take a station break here. We are on WRWK 93.9 FM, and this is Self-Care Activist, and I'm here with Harry Lopez, personal coach, who is sometimes in Miami and now mostly in LA, right? That's a big move for you. And we're talking about self-care and things that Harry works with his clients in terms of helping them through self-care work to find their potential. Would you say that's fair, to have them stand in their own greatness? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, wow. So I love that. I love that moment when you're talking. I mean, something we don't talk about a lot in our culture is that exchange of energy, that monetary exchange of energy, and how this is transformational. And I love how you mentioned, like, as soon as somebody signs on for your coaching program and they commit to that, and they put forth that payment, like, that's the line they step over, that investment in themselves. And I think it's a beautiful, like, marker, like today, like, I'm imagining, and of course I've invested in coaches too, which has been incredible. And that moment of, I am taking the bulls by the horns. I'm taking these blocks that I have in me, and I'm going to bust them, and I am crossing over this line of serious self-care, right? And I'm going to change, like you said. You've just done, made the first step in completely changing your life, right?
And oftentimes it starts with just a decision, just a choice. And it's the choice to say that I am worthy.
Yeah.
I am worthy of this, and I am just worthy simply because I'm here, simply because I exist, because I'm whatever you believe in, because I'm loved by a beautiful God. I'm loved loved and supported by the universe, by source. I am worthy of it all. I'm worthy of having what I want. I'm worthy of pulling up a seat at the table. Really.
So speaking of pulling up a seat at the table, yesterday when we were chatting about doing this recording for this radio show, you mentioned, like, one of the things that you love about working with the Latin community is this healing of the historical place of the Latin community in our culture. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yes, definitely. And I thank you for bringing that up. And I've just attended this conference this past weekend called the We All Grow Latina Conference, which brings together just really phenomenal and highly talented Latinas who are doing great work in media, technology, finance, beauty, everything. And of course, normally I would never attend a conference like this, but given that a lot of my clients are Latina women, like like badass Latinas who are doing great work in the world, many of them were speaking or presenting or organizing things at the conference. So it just felt really aligned, given that I would be in California for our conference, to just come a few days earlier for this conference. And one of the things that came up a lot from my experience there is and through the work that I've done with my clients as well, is the extent to which the Latinx community, myself included, millennials and children of Latinos who've immigrated to this country and Latinos who are living in other countries, the extent to which we've got deeply embedded ancestral wounds that are.
Can you speak a little bit more about that? Like, what are
Sure.
the ancestral wounds? I mean, yeah, please.
Like trauma and pain, in from all different levels of like migrating to a new country, the pain and suffering that might happen for families for whom they were chased out of their country, persecuted, exiled. My family was exiled from Nicaragua. From my mom's side, they were exiled. They had to escape to Costa Rica, and they came to the United States. My father was in the Revolutionary War. He had leprosy on his arm. He was about to die. He had to escape the US. I mean, he had to escape Nicaragua. And that's just some examples, but there are other examples of abuse and pain and suffering and shame that oftentimes a lot of women will go through in crossing the border, or in mothering children, and the machismo culture that often exists in Latin culture with abuse of women, or things of that sort in nature. Oftentimes violence that goes on in the families and in homes. Generational poverty is another thing, growing up with lack of funds, and it creates this mindset of scarcity. And so a lot of Latinos that I grew up with, we grew up in households where oftentimes there wasn't a lot. We were just getting by paycheck to paycheck. And so we grow up and we're still perpetuating these same mindsets, these same limiting beliefs around money. Like when we have money, it's like, oh my God, we've got to really just, oh my God, it's not going to last. It's going to go away. Or who am I?
Right.
Who am I to have this money? Am I deserving of this?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh.
Or this, and it plays out in different ways, such as hiding. Hiding is really big in the Latino culture, where we go into hiding, where we dim our light, we silence our voices, we ask for permission to do anything and everything. And so it's about here is my power, here it is, go, this is yours now, grab it, take it all away. It's not mine. I have no power. And so the process of coaching for me has really been about reclaiming my inherent power and my worth, reclaiming my voice, being okay with myself, not just okay with myself, but really loving and truly accepting myself, which has been for me the greatest obstacle, the greatest challenge, but also the greatest opportunity, is deeply loving myself and accepting myself. And I think that I'm a mirror for so many others, not just Latinos, but really just everyone, because we all struggle.
And this is what you help to coach your clients through is healing this these historical what issues? It's historical framework. I don't know, what would you call
frameworks? But I would call them misunderstandings.
There you go. Yeah, that's excellent.
I would call them misunderstandings and misconceptions, and just stories.
Stories.
Programming, patterning that is just there to keep us safe. So innocent. And oftentimes what we'll do is we'll punish ourselves. But when we punish ourselves, it's really not serving us. It's really locking us in the same pattern. And through the work of forgiveness, really deeply, not forgiving others, but really deeply forgiving. And of course, forgiving others is important, but really through the process of deeply forgiving ourselves for believing and buying into and operating under these misunderstandings, that's when we can set ourselves free and create true freedom. And so for me, that's self-care. Like, of course, self-care is also, the other day I saw one of my clients and we went and got massages at Massage Envy, which is fine. It's great. But that's just like a quick thing and it's on the surface. For me, self-care is so deeply rooted at the core, the crux. Like how do we rewire, remanufacture, and heal and unlock our freedom so that we're really deeply free and taking care of ourselves at a whole new level of our lives. And so, yes, we can go to the gym, and I can help my clients, keep them accountable for going to the gym, which is great. But do the work of transformation. It's really going to the source. It's really deeply holding us back from really uncovering the truth of who we are.
Wow. So I'm Mary Burruss. This is Self-Care Activist. I'm here with Harry Lopez. We're talking about self-care in terms of, right now we're talking about self-care in terms of transforming ourselves out of the histories of our cultures, various cultures, and what that might look like. And I'm just going to take a second to say we're on WRWK 93.9 FM. And support for WRWK is provided by Affordable Home Inspection. With over 15 years of experience, Jeremy Rowan, owner and master inspector of Affordable Home Inspection, offers insured and bonded home inspection, including heating systems, air conditioning units, roof condition, electrical service, and interior I can speak English, really. Interior structural elements, serving Richmond, Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, Petersburg, Williamsburg, and Alexandria. More information at affordablehomeinspect.com. Okay, I'm Mary Burruss. This is self-care. Self-care. Yeah, it's that too. And I'm with Harry Lopez, personal coach, and we're talking about self-care and personal transformation. And is there anything else in particular you wanted to address while we're talking about this subject?
I would say I would love for everyone listening to this radio show to read this one book that has really deeply changed my life and the way that I operate, that I think about things that happen to us and the thoughts that create our suffering and how to really reach freedom. And it's the book Loving What Is by Byron Katie, which has really been deeply pivotal and influential in my life. And it's not the kind of book that you just read once and put away. And it's the kind of book that you don't just read it all in one sitting. You've got to almost become the principles and the practices that she offers in this book, if applied directly to the thoughts that come through, and particularly the most challenging, the most pressing thoughts that are creating like tension and stress and anxiety for you, you can choose whether you want to allow that to be something that affects you in that way. You can question the beliefs that come through your mind. You can inquire into them. This is the process of inquiry, and it's called The Work by Byron Katie, and I highly recommend it. And to me, the work is about truly loving yourself, and it's a meditation through life, and it's about walking through life as if it is a grand meditation, and that's what I want for everybody.
So I just picked that up recently, and in fact, I listen to audiobooks because I'm in the car a lot. So that's how I get that's my learning time, right? That's my reading time, quote unquote, these days. And she actually narrates the book herself, which is really interesting to hear this in her own voice, right? And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the work of Byron Katie, she has 4 questions that you ask. Yeah. So if you have, this can be about anything, a perception about yourself or someone else or whatever. And so a really rudimentary example would be, you're driving down the road and someone, you're on the highway and someone sharply cuts in front of you, right? And one way of reacting to that is to think, oh, that idiot, I can't, they shouldn't let people like that drive, right? Okay. So this is putting negative energy into the world, right? And you've made up a story. You've completely made up a story. You know really nothing about the facts. So the first question is, Harry, do you want to share what the first question is?
Is this
Is it
true?
true?
Is this
Is it
true?
true? Okay, is it true? Like, so you would ask yourself, is it true that that person is an idiot? Well, in that moment, you might say, yes, it is, or you might say no, right? But the next question I find to be really powerful, which is, and I could be getting it wrong, the wording wrong, but it's something like, how do you know this is true?
Can you absolutely know that it's true?
Yes, can you absolutely know this is true? And what's the answer there? Of course, it's no. You can't know. You have no idea what that person is going through in that moment. They could have, their hurt pet in the back of the car and they're rushing to the vet. They could have, they could be in labor and going to the hospital. They could be, it could be, they could have a loved one just pass away and they're just not clear on what they're doing. There are 100 million things that could be going on. You have no idea what's going on with that person in that moment, right? And I pretty much went, stop there almost. Like, can I absolutely know it's true? No. Okay, really? Do I need to move on? Like, I busted the story. But there are two more questions, right?
Yeah, and I go through the one belief at a time. So I go through the whole worksheet. So I go into the, how do you feel when you believe this thought? What reactions come up for you? Where do you feel it in your body? What images do you see in your mind when you believe this thought? And then there's the other one that's really the one that is included in that one. Who would you be and what would you be like without this belief or this thought? What would you be like in the world? And then once you do that, you do the turnarounds. So if the thought was, like, she doesn't trust me would be the thought, right? You could turn it around. I don't trust me. She does trust me. And she trusts me. Or sorry, she doesn't trust me. She trusts me. I don't trust me. I trust me, or something. The turnarounds in the worksheet. And then you get specific examples for each one. And it's just super powerful to get out of your own way and out of your own mind. And for me, it's been really helpful with regards to just money, really money freedom and unlocking my stories around money. It's been around unlocking stories that I've created around relationships and so much more. So that's what I want to end everybody with, is the work of Byron Katie, loving what is.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So, awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to do a station ID then. This is 93.9 WRWK. I'm Mary Burruss, self-care activist. I'm here with Harry Lopez, personal coach. And we are talking about the importance of self-care in varying degrees. And we were just talking about Byron Katie's book, Loving What Is. I'm going to also say to people that it only costs $40 a day to support WRWK. And that's like buying Starbucks for your small office. One, like $40, all this awesome information and programming can come to you, and we'd love to have your donation. So please consider that tax deductible donation to WRWK today. And what else do I have to say? Oh, not that. Let's see. Favors. Let's see. I have nothing else to say except we'll be back next Thursday. I'm not sure who my guest will be next Thursday, but on the 20th, I will have Slash Coleman and Heather Umberger, and we're going to be talking about laughter yoga, which is something that I do, which is totally awesome, and talk about self-care. Oh my gosh, laughter yoga is the wormhole of yogas, and it'll get you to enlightenment like that. So Harry, if someone were interested in learning more about what you do, how would they reach you?
Sure. You can visit my Instagram at the Harry Lopez, TheHarryrLopez, and also my website at www.harrylouislopez.com. Harry Louis, Louis, Lopez.com.
Awesome.
I'm also on Twitter and other places, but those are perfect.
All right. Yes. And for more information about self-care activists, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Mary Burruss on Facebook, and that's Burruss. And check out my daily Dharma walk talks. They're almost daily.
They're love
mostly
those.
daily.
Those are so good. So
you.
good.
I have so much fun. And I live in Manchester, in Richmond, which is on the south side of the James River. And that's where I record those most mornings when I'm not in Charlottesville doing it and walking towards the Teapot Bridge. That's what we call it. Yeah. So, woo! All right. So, Harry, in closing, thank you so much for participating in the conversation today and just being so open about your things that you do for self-care and the work you do with your clients to help them become better, more fuller versions of themselves. And any last thing you want to say about what you do or work with your clients or self-care?
Yes. If you are a Latino entrepreneur, I've got a lot of programs coming up for you. If you are an entrepreneur, a coach, or a creator, I've got one-on-one coaching, but I've also got a group called the Latinx Mastermind, which begins July 2019. So it starts in about a month from now, and we'll do a big immersion. We'll come together in Los Angeles, and we do group coaching for 5 months. If you are a non-Latino entrepreneur, if you are just a non-Latino, I've got programs for you as well. I please don't think that I'm leaving you out. I've got a breakthrough mastermind that is rolling year long on Sundays. So I'll be coaching every Sunday for the next couple of months. So if you're interested in these things, just look on my website and go ahead and send in an application. And we are always looking for people that are talented, high achieving, and just ready for transformation. So if you're ready to grow, just go on my website and send in an application, and my team and I will be with you shortly.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. And
You're
I
welcome.
know that those are tremendous programs that'll be great for
Thank you.
people. I don't know if I can say that on public radio. I did. So.
And Mary, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast. I really appreciate you for inviting me and letting me share my story with you and your community.
Thank you so much, Harry. And again, this is WRWK 93.9 FM. This is Self-Care Activist. I'm Mary Burruss. I'm with Harry of Flowering Cactus. That's my business. Creator of the Stable and Strong Proven Process. And I've been speaking with Harry Lopez of the Harry Lopez, and I'm personal coach. So thank you so much for joining us today on the topic of self-care. Just one more little thing here before we go. I'm going to talk about the Thrifty Quaker one more time. And so here we go. Support for WRWK is provided by the Thrifty Quaker, located in the Midlothian Station Shopping Center at the corner of Midlothian Turnpike and Coalfield Road. The Thrifty Quaker sells donated items to support the work of 12 varying, mostly local charities each year. This month's charities are Smitty's Cat Rescue Shelter and Operation Catnip. Together, they are helping homeless cats get neutered and find forever homes. Information at thriftyquaker.com. All right, so that's it for us. This is the healthcare. Oops, I keep doing that today. What's wrong with me? Self-care activist. Self-care activist. And I'm Mary Burruss, and that's Harry Lopez, and we're having an awesome time here today. Thank you for joining us. I will be back in the studio in Richmond next week, 4 to 6 p.m. My guest is to be determined, and please call in with your questions at that time. Have an amazing week. Om Shanti Shanti Om. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Mary.